By most metrics, I'm a stupid person. Let's just get that on the table now. I was about a C, D student. Super optimistic there. I'm going to tell you, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing to be a C student. I'm going to be your Sacagawea and guide you through, well, that's not a bad thing. So let's start day one. Okay, maybe not that day one. Let's start day one of summer vacation. There's me, super happy, thumbs up, look with a mouthful of metal, looking really good looking. I may be biased there. But I was so happy. I was actually taking this robotics course over the summer and learning robotics and learning so much, and I just absolutely loved it. And I was actually homeschooled up to this point. And then my parents got a little busy, so I decided to go into high school. And apparently it's a little bit different than homeschooling. So picture this as me. This is me, first day of high school, thinking about this test that's coming up, really important, kind of curled up in the fetal position a little bit, so kind of sweet release, and then with rock hard abs, of course, as you can see. But I didn't get the best grades in the world. Like I said, I was a C/D student, wasn't doing very well. I was actually too scared to go to school some days. I had to take days off just because I was too scared. I actually shivered with fear whenever I saw a teacher. Even when I was getting my feet, I just walking away, doing well, and then here comes a pop quiz. Although I was not the best student, mainly got C's and D's, the summer after my first year of high school, I had this awesome teacher. His name was Toby. As you can see, quite the ladies' man up there, looking real hip, real cool. I decided, or more so my parents forced me to take this physics course over the summer. I'm so glad that my parents forced me to do that because this teacher completely blew my mind away. Coming from having a C- in physics last year, I was now at the top of my class in my physics class just because I had a really amazing teacher that motivated me, and I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to having teachers that were actually excited to see a student learn, excited to see a student prosper. Although I wasn't good at grades during the year, I was competitive with my brother, as most brothers are. And he was going on and on about this thing called Bitcoin, which he said was going to replace the dollar. It was the currency of the future, and it kind of was a little like stocks and how you put money into it. And honestly, I didn't really care. I just kind of wanted him to shut up. And he said he bought 40 Bitcoins. And then using all the money that I saved up to that point, which was about $1,000, I decided to shut him up and buy more Bitcoins than him, which was about 100 Bitcoins that I bought. And that really turned out great for the future because when Bitcoins were at $12 when I bought them, they rose to $1,200. And then I had 100 Bitcoins. And at first I was like, what do I do with this money? And then I did what most high school students wouldn't do during finals week. I decided to read a book instead of my textbook. It was called Without Their Permission, which told me that I could really do anything that I want without anyone's permission through the open internet. And that really inspired me. And that inspired me to start something called Botangle, which goal was to replace school. Not a great thing to do during finals week. I was really happy about it. But unfortunately, I did not get it done in time for finals. I failed my geometry test, full disclosure. Starting a business is actually kind of hard. Who knew? So I went to this forum called Reddit Entrepreneur, which surprisingly kind of blew up. It got over 300 comments and got very popular. And I got all this amazing feedback telling me that I could really do this, do that. These are the good things, here are the cons. And I was just so ecstatic just to get all this help. And then suddenly I had this reporter come up to me, and her name is Samantha Kelly. And she was from this website called Mashable. And she said, Eric, you have a really interesting story. Is it okay if I write an article on it and ask you some questions? And I was like, sure, okay, I'll take it. I'll take an article. And then after about 2 weeks of asking questions, she finished the article and actually went viral. Suddenly, Entrepreneur Magazine was picking it up. Other sites were picking it up. I was trending on Twitter, and I just kind of freaked out at that point. I'm like, Mom, look, I'm on Twitter. Oh my God. And then I actually had all these very important people. I had VCs coming to me saying, hey, I'd like to invest, And I was like, okay, Okay, I'll take your money. Okay. And then I was really excited about that. And I had these people offering me help, and people from the Reddit Entrepreneur Forum, where I first got my start, were coming up to me and saying, congratulations, I'm so glad we helped you out, so happy. And I realized I actually did have an interesting story. I didn't really think so when the article came out, but I was managing people all over the world, programming the world, cutting out my little section of the world, all kind of a day at a time. And I just thought that was kind of cool when I realized it. I was even like a CEO for a day with a good-looking Studley suit photo. And I was managing a company, managing a vision of a company. And that really kind of blew my mind. And speaking of days, many days were spent on taxes. Wasn't fun, but builds character, I guess. And then during all this fame and all these people approaching to me, there's someone who told me about this thing called the 20 Under 20 Fellowship, which gives $100,000 to high school students or college students, really anyone under the age of 20, to drop out. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. I made $100,000, might as well have another 100,000. So I went to the website and I saw a conference. It was a lot more than just money looking at it. I met these really cool people. There was other 15-year-olds there, everyone starting cool stuff. And actually, one of the people that was given $100,000 to drop out started this company called Sprayable Energy. And it was like sprayable Red Bull for your skin, so you can just kind of bathe in it. And he said he was looking for interns. And I was like, whoa, cool. I'm from Idaho, so that's kind of a middle of nowhere place in the US. We're known for our potatoes, if you haven't heard. So I wasn't used to this. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go up to you, you know. Are you looking for interns? He said you were. And he's like, sure, yeah, come for an interview. And then so I went to the interview, and it went really well. And it was really cool to talk to them. They drove me home, so I thought that was a good sign. The next day, they said, you got the job. Come down. Unfortunately, you can't work from Idaho. You do have to work at Silicon Valley. And I was like, okay. I'll suffer with that. Me and Silicon Valley. I was just so excited. Everything Silicon Valley. Everyone was like hustling. Everyone was in a hurry. Their startup was their whole life. And I thought that was just so cool. Like there was these things like smart water coolers. Who knew? There was smart spoons, smart forks. There was anything you could imagine. It was smart. And I was just so excited. Even though other people, they just saw this as their daily lives, just going day by day by day, kind of, you know, just doing their thing. Not many people I took pictures with, they're like, it's a normal day, selfie time, you know, so of course. And this is actually a prominent startup figure named Paul Graham. And then I actually saw him at a breakfast place, and then I saw him go into the bathroom. And then I was like, oh my God, is that Paul Graham? Is that this famous startup guy? So I waited for him outside the bathroom. And then I was too chicken. I just said, I'm just using the bathroom after you. But then my friend, Dylan, who's in the middle of the photo, he's like, I'm just going to make a break for it. I'm going to go up and talk to him. And I was like, whoa, you're going to talk to him? And he just ran up. You know, that's all he said. And I actually tried to tackle him just because, you know, just to get him to stop. I was like, no, I want to meet Paul Graham first. And then we got to talking. It was super awkward. I was kind of starstruck, but it was still amazing. And then as I met other people throughout the valley, it was kind of the same reaction. Me doing duck faces, taking selfies with people, all happy, but people are just like, this is normal. Even though I was doing all these fun stuff, I was still a 15-year-old in the valley. There was all these fun parties. You had to be 21 to go because, you know, there's a lot of alcohol at these startup parties, people raising millions of dollars in funding for their business. And it was actually really, really, really great networking, and it was an amazing learning experience. And all my friends got to go. I never did, which kind of made me sad. Sad Keanu. But I still really made the best of what I did while I was there. And it was an amazing learning experience, and especially at Sprayable Energy. But I still had this thing called Botangle, which was kind of still happening. It was getting users and users every week, and I was actually making money off of it. I actually forgot about it for a while, and I was like, there's a lot of money here. I should probably use this, buy a smart water cooler. So I decided I actually need to expand this rather than just a one-person team. So I started this thing called Intern for a Day, which provides interns at startup companies at a day. So that way they get a really good learning experience. They actually may get hired out of it and make money off of it. And this is something that I would have really loved if I was living my normal life in Idaho. And when I opened up registrations, like I thought, we'll get 20, 30 people tops. And suddenly we had 100 people sign up, which sold out all the tickets for the event in less than 15 minutes. So on my bike ride from home to work, I was like, oh, you have 100 notifications. Fun. Okay, what are they? And then I just noticed this, wow, this event is actually getting really popular. And people are actually having fun at it too. We had piñata contests, and people were learning a lot by working, and startups were learning a lot by managing a large team. And I thought that was just simply incredible. So I thought, maybe this thing could actually go beyond just internships at tech companies. Maybe this thing could go something like chef for a day, or like singer for a day, or whatever you can imagine for a day. Because what I learned from these events is you can learn a lot in a day. And starting a company, like, it wasn't looking at things a month at a time, it was each day. What's gonna happen today? What do I need to do today to make sure we survive? So I took it upon myself. I decided to do chef for a day and just like learn how to cook. And that, let me tell you, that did not go well. A lot of burnt mac and cheese. But thankfully by the end of the day, since I delved into it, there was a lot of mac and cheese. A lot of plentiful mac and cheese that was not burnt. And I actually did that with other things. I went to a Buddhist temple for a day because why not, right? I was curious about Buddhism and it looked interesting. I also did an X Factor singing for a day, an X Factor edition. I'm not very proud of it, but thankfully it's buried in the deep depths of YouTube. After this, I was just learning so much every day. It was incredible. It was amazing. And I actually have a challenge for you guys, and I hope you do it, is I want you to go out, learn something, just really go into it. Don't do it part-time. Really do something for a day and sample your passion so you can figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. When is your day one of your journey? Thank you.